And good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's well this evening. Good afternoon, Dale. It's been ages since I've spoke to you. We will be cutting this short today, so probably 10 minutes early because of the in-flight report for X-Wing. So I'll probably be popping over there with some of you later on. We'll be on the... I've got bits of shaving stuff everywhere. Head. Yeah, we're just gonna cut it short a little bit tonight so we can... Hi, mate. Just so we can all pop over there. We're going to be on our Discord channel like we were last night till silly o'clock watching a stream that kept failing. Poor guys. They were in good spirits all the way through it, so can't fault them. So tonight we're going to be continuing with the tank. It's had a lot of time to dry, which it definitely needed. The little concoction we made took ages to dry. That's the mess. It's gone. Mat's gone. The mat. Well, you can see the mess it left on the mat. It's yeah, did a proper job of the mat. It was a good job I had a spare. Okay. So that's where the tank was left. Obviously a lot of dribbly bits hanging over from it from last night. So we're going to do some rusting and more rusting and some rusting. So it wants to be basically an old disused tank. I need to put the stars on as well, which I will get some. I did have white. Right, army painter tray. So you can see all of the army paints in a nice little tray now, and it has our paint racks. So these work really well. So there's 3D printed racks. They go into the really useful trays. They go in there really well. Really useful and really well. And they keep all the paints from just rolling over inside there. So I'm just going to quickly, while I can, pick up the stars. I'm trying not. Yeah, it doesn't want to be too. Maybe thin that down a bit. I don't want them looking too new. So I'm going to check in a second. I just want to get these on drying because I'm going to be doing a lot of the underneath, and I didn't want to forget them. So make them all lumpy. Hello, Tomo. Yes, it really has come out well. It did take a lot of drying, unfortunately. I wanted to get a couple of bits done on it this morning, just so it was ready for today. But things like the star and stuff like that. Yeah, and then I can mucky them up in a bit. So, what we do have is the opportunity to do some rusting effect. So, what I've got, I do actually have the dry rust, which is quite a thin, and it goes into all the nooks and crannies, but also I have lava orange. So, what I'm going to do with the lava orange, and without the aid of a safety net, is do some rusting effects. So I've just put some onto a bit of cloth, and yeah, that's the right colour on that. So I'm also going to put some plate mail on that. In fact, I'm going to put some of that in the palette. So from the palette, the first thing we're going to do is put some metallic back into the track. Don't get orange on the floor. So that's the tracks underneath, and they do look absolutely pitted. So all I'm doing is taking the plate silver and little dry brush, and this is how I do most of my tracks. There's some sort of dirty gooey, and then again just around them, just remembering where you're doing the silver will probably get rust around it as well, so just quick rub over it. Basically highlights the tracks a little bit more. So now in here you want exactly the same. Before we start rusting it. So you get the tracks, you get the, and then you've got to get down in here as well, where it still might get seen. I know it's only, again, it's only scenery. There's a nice bit of scenery. There we go. Good evening, Ulfric. So that's picked the tracks up and working on the tracks really nicely. And the rust will pick out the silver and do a good job on all of that as well. So the barrel as well. So puts a bit of metallics back into the barrel, so it's not just so. In the same way, we now take the orange, which has nearly dried up on my palette, and then stipple and dab and randomly apply orange to it. Try not to fall over. That one. So a bit. Good evening, bearded beastie. How are you this fine evening? Will you be joining us from 9 o'clock tonight, Matt? Yes, you did. I think. Yes, you did, Ulfric. So, again, just going over any of the, where you've just done the silver, do the, the FFG X-Wing reports on. We're going on to Discord to have a bit of a chinwag about it as it's happening. We did it last night at silly o'clock in the morning, watching the reveals with Paul and everyone. No, Van. It's September the 25th. It feels like it because we were up till 4 o'clock this morning watching the in-flight report from FFG. Snowy let me know I need to contact Kieran. I was meant to get an email through. Snowy said there should have been an email through, which not come through to my email address. Yeah, we tried to watch it. Paul's quite correct, because it didn't work too well. Yeah, that. Thank you, Foxy, for putting the Discord up. If anyone wants to come and have a bit of a giggle, we had a good laugh last night. I know it was late, and there was only 5 or 6 of us there, but it was a cracking night. Yeah. And Egan's put the actual Twitch stream for them up as well. Thank you very much. So you can see it's going grubby and greasy and orange, and that's just Martin. So because the orange is quite translucent, it does just look like bright rust in it. So where we did the dry brushing yesterday on all of the metalwork on the top, we're also going to do the same sort of thing. I just want to... So imagine if we were doing this to the top of a tank. This is where you get the rust on the top from. It's just a very light dry brush of a bright orange. Woo. And throw the brush away. Don't need the brush. Yeah, the hyperspace wings are going to be quite interesting. It's just lava orange. Army paint is that lava orange. As you can see, the rust's coming through nicely. A Q-wing. Yeah, if you want a Q-wing for Dengar, then that's fine. So, what I'm looking at, I'm going to need some more orange. So where we've put the metallics around here, I tend to get the brush and stipple, because again it's not going to pick up as much as it did. There you go. So some of the silver still shows through, and it's just going to give some high points to the orange. I'll show you what we do in a minute as well, because we also still have the rust effects to go on. And I did say this was going to be very rusty. Well, not very rusty, but rusty enough to make it look as if it's sat for a while and not being... And this will all dry, as I said. It will dry up and start becoming... Discard, Tomahawk, sponsors. It's for Fallout, Wasteland Warfare. It is primarily a piece of scenery. It's on their website. You can buy the STL file, and the STL file allows you to print as many of these as you want. One of the lads that comes on here, a lad called Phil, we've been doing some bits and pieces like this together for a couple of weeks. So the more... Right, so also... Yeah, we could do. It's just going to be a piece of scenery. As I said, this is just the first bit of the brighter bits of rusting. I think the dry rust goes on like a wash. I think it does. I've not used it yet, so it could be an eye opener when I go, oh no, it doesn't. I think we used it on... What did we use it on that I tried it? I'm sure I tried it on Summit. So, I'll put the orange away. Have a quick check, see who's joined us from the lands of Facebooks and stuff like that. Cool, quite a few people over on the Book of Faces. So, this is the dry rust effect. So it looks a lot more solid version of the oh yeah, it's gloopy. So let's have a heavy rust areas. Wow, that is a lot brighter than I thought. So when I was on the other day about how much, obviously going over the edges and making like the green going on to where the silver is and the silver going on to where the green is, and how much it didn't matter, that's why it didn't matter. Because I'm going to put a lot of rust down on it. So again, just stippling the rust. Bit of I know this does dry totally different to what it looks like at this moment in time. If it doesn't, that's one hell of an oranged up tank I've just done. So you're just doing random splodging. It is really bright, yeah. I'll go a bit further over the tank once I've got the front done. The thing with it being bright, it is quite translucent as well, so it goes like clear, almost clear. So once it dries out, you tend to get a much more muted brown. Than bright orange. But I'll also be doing some washes over this as well. To more washes. I did a green wash yesterday, but maybe some brown washes to get the rust effect more into the stuff. The barrels look absolutely amazing. So again, the whole thing starting to look like it's got rust all over it, just by a little bit of like a dry brush, but it is quite wet. And if you dry brush it too, it's more stippling dry brushy. So even when it goes on dead bright, like it has on that area there, once it dries, you can see what looks like rust patches, but that's about it. But if you've done the silver, it does show through. That's it. We can mute it down with the washers as well. Again. There you go. So do we think they're going to spoil anything else tonight? A moist brush. Yes, moist brushing. There is a company out. More crisis reveals. Tonight is X-Wing, so I think there's only X-Wing on it tonight, but as there could be stuff all over the place. So I'm just going to keep going around it, picking up a bit of rust off the palette, splodging it on, letting it dry. Uh-oh. Ears are going to be a bit upset. Thank you. We are late in getting tea tonight, so hold on, I haven't got all of that. I may have chicken nuggies coming. And chips.
Have a chicken nugget.
No, you can't have a chicken nugget. They're my chicken nuggies.
You're not really straw them?
Dinner is served. 1 chicken nugget. That's all you're getting, child, till you work more. Barbecue sauce for me. So I know this is really unprofessional, but people know I've been fairly busy over the last couple of days, and this is my today's treat. Oops. So while I'm eating nuggies, I bet Foxy wants nuggies now. Oh, I did just lick the sauce lid. Whoops. I'll be fine. And I only licked the inside of it. Right. Look. Rinse that brush out of it. I know I'm a monster. My only disappointment with chicken nuggies these days is they don't do mustard, so I can have mustard and brown sauce in the same pot. The old mustard that they did. So tonight's stream prize is a chicken nugget. Come and get it. Cheers, love. So, while I'm stuffing my face, what I'm going to do is show you some close-ups of how the rust's going. So it's my brown sauce is all the way over there. I'm really pleased how the gun barrels come out. As I say, you can still see it on the heat sinks where it's wet. Once that dries, it goes very translucent. Paint it with it. Oh, you're joking, aren't you? So what I'll do is I'll get the washes and get some of the wash down as well. I have military shader. I've got a mild brown, light tone, not flesh wash, not red tone, definitely not purple tone. Green, not really. Blue, dark. Don't need the light. Use the paint as a condiment. I'm not wasting my chicken nuggets painting a tank. So I'm going to go with dark tone first. So dark tone is quite dark black. And I'm going to go with an old brush because it's going to get splodged. Nope, not that one. It needs a bigger splodging area. Splodge is a technical term, isn't it? Delicate splodging. If I can find the splodgy brush. What? I'm gonna have to use this one. It's a good job I've just finished doing this stippling. So I'm going to go around some of the high-rised or high-laid bits. I'm just picking up the like the rake there. That's it. I'm being quite rough with this brush because it's, if you go neat and you do a pin wash and stuff like that, you can tell it's not, it doesn't feel real, it doesn't feel natural, as it were. So if you just splodge it along where you want it, obviously the bits that you definitely want it, like the vent there, you spend a little bit more time. Thanks for the follow. So you fill the grid in and that fills it nicely, but it's like this, you just splodge away. So where the rust has gone on heavy, if you just give it a quick, or a little bit too heavy, you can put some wash in and that will sort of cut it back a bit so it's not as I broke it. It looks like oil patches and places where the grime gathers and stuff like that. So you can have clean patches, you can have totally overrun patches with oil and grease and grime. That's it, it's just a big old splodgy brush. It's nothing massively fancy. It used to be a good brush for doing base coats and stuff like that, but it has since become redundant with bits peeling off, and it had a good life. Now it gets to splodge, so has the music gone down again? Better? The other thing is the green is still quite bright in areas, so hitting it with the dark tone brings it back to like the army green that we wanted it. So all the rivety bits, like them, having a good bit of grime around them is always good. Oops, I ran out. Let's have a look. Do I need it? Yeah, I need a bit more. Act on. Is the music any better? I think it depends on which playlist we throw in to how loud it goes. So what I've done there is I've gone for a full neat dark tone wash and just a bit of water to spread some of it down, and that'll fade it along the barrel a bit. So you can stop doing this at any point and you're going to have a pretty decent old rusted tank to throw on the battlefield as a piece of line of sight blocking terrain or an objective, anything like that. You can, as with most things, you can do as much or as little as you want. Once you've got the rust down, the rust's pretty good as just a base as it is, leaving it like that. And if you're sat with 20 of these to do, or a whole battlefield full of scenery for the weekend, then yeah, sometimes you're getting it just rattled through and throwing washes across it and that sort of stuff is always good. There we go. I'll let that dry for a little bit. Did that go with that grand bigger? So there was a little bit of the black left, so I've dropped in that, and let's have a mix. So we've now got some brown coming in, so I'm looking at the rusty areas as well now. Just like that. Yeah, the orange does it. It looks garish and scary when you first do it, but it does tone back down, and especially if you're putting washes over. A wash will always mute what you've done beforehand. So putting a black wash over some of it, putting brown washes eventually over it, you get different little bits here and there. So as I said, this is probably 75% mild brown. Is it the one I was going for or not? Yeah. And then 25% dark tone. So the bits that I've missed with the dark tone to try and... So not everything is high contrast with the black wash, picking it up really well, and it'll get the brown tone and then submerge bits of each over it. One thing you have to do is when you've done washes like this is you're going to get green patches like that. Just give it a quick rub over, try and get some of the medium onto it. Because sometimes it can just look that little bit too bright if left. So again, you've got the mix of the browns and the blacks mixing together, and it will pool and it will go into different areas. But you also get the full effect of it being rusty and sat in a field for quite some time. There we go. I'm going to try something else. The dry rust. Some mild brown. Always wash the nuggies down with wash. So what I have Foxy, you're gonna cost me a fortune. So what I've done is I've took equal quantities of the mild brown and the that has frozen. That's no longer frozen. I should be on commission. Chicken nugget painting, best ever. So what I've actually done is, as I said, I've mixed 50-50 dry rust and brown wash. I'm going to readjust the camera because And I've just started going in along, basically along above the tracks and on the tops of the tracks. Anywhere you feel like mud and goop would settle. And again, this is just another level, trying something different. It's all Jack's fault, because Jack always pushes me to try different. Oh, Jack's not here. So I'm just trying to get it right into the recess parts. Not in open panels, just in, as he says, hitting an open panel. Right on top of the tracks with this. And along the edges where the tracks meet the actual bodywork. On the tracks as well. Around there. Some down in there. So you can see here perfectly what I was on about. A lot of people will, if they know they're going to be rusting it up to this sort of level, they'll just paint it one of the greens. I'm just standing through some open panels as well there because it's really good. But what you still get is, even under the rust, and as you can see there, you're getting the dark to light green. So you still get the faded effect, and you still get some of the highlights that you did with the airbrush still come through and look good. You can see it down this side as well. If you don't just absolutely cover it in washes, a lot of that does show through. The way I'm going with this, it'll probably take a week for these washes to dry. There we go. A bit too much. But a bit too much, you can then a little bit of water, dry it out, and the whole section will probably go rusty. That's what it looks like, the top middle one. It looks like probably Tabasco sauce, something like that. Hey James. Sorry I'm not catching people on Facebook as they're coming in, because it definitely doesn't link over for some reason. So, quick question. Has anyone played Infinity Code 1? I am going to stop now. Because if I don't stop... I've lost my... Where's my sauces over here? So, oop, that gun isn't glued in. So that's the rust effect that we've got going on it. Maybe there's a bit more there because that's just not got any sort of bit, didn't have any character to it. So there's so much going on this model. There's loads of little nooks and crannies to add personal touches to, a little bit of extra rust here and there. Lots along the front. I'll just use what's left on the front bit. Do we know what's in the Code 1 starter set? I did ask someone today and they've not got back to us yet. Right, definitely stopping now. Lee, stop. So I'm going to call the tank done there. As I say, we've used all of the army painters. Tricks, techniques, cheats, all that sort of stuff. And chicken nuggies. So... you can't see it very well, but that'll go over there to dry. I'll take some pictures of it tomorrow. Foxy will remind me to take some pictures of it tomorrow. And we'll put it up on the website of what we've done. I keep forgetting to do it, and I do. What else have I got to be doing? Foxy never forgets. Foxy's really good at remembering stuff. Right, what I do need to do on Hella is just sealing in some of the colour with clear lacquer, and I can do some bits extra to it. It's a good job Snowy's not here, he would kill me. I think you can pretty much write bot wars off. I'll go. This should be done for false advertising on chicken nuggets. So, Foxy's wanting to buy into some games, and he's trying to get me to talk him out of it. So the games are Adeptus Titanicus, Bot Wars, Bushido, Carnivale, Infinity Code 1, Pacific Rim Extension, and adding to his Mythos and Wild West Exodus collection. Is there any of them that people feel he shouldn't be buying? And when I say he, it'll probably be both of us, because there's a Weekend Warlord here. Which Weekend Lord? Which Weekend Warlord? It's got to be Alex. We need to talk, Mr. Alex. Or is it actually Rasta? Ah. We have the nanny bot in the channel. So, if we do Titanica, cool, so you can come and chat to us while we're watching stuff tonight. We'll be in the ProTech Discord channel. Getting all high-tech. Oh, wow. Titanicus will sink. I don't even know what to say, Tomo. So, as I was saying, let's have a close-up on the Hera. Hera. Stupid Star Wars. The face needs finishing. And the base definitely does. Have you done... Hera. I don't know where my... Have I got everything of yours, Foxy? The reason I'm asking is on some of mine, right, okay, so I can do it to everything. So in the cracks and the edges of this, I've got some tiny tufts from Army Painter. And then what I'm going to do is put some tiny tufts down. It looks like moss because of the scale, and the scale it's designed for is 28mm, and the scale of this just gives it the feeling it's got moss in between. So I will stick some moss in there. See what you can do. Where did that go? I can't find paint when I want it. It is clearly going to be one of them there days. Yeah, just because with them all being based already with some sort of like scenic type base on it. It just needs a little something. Right, so what I have got here is ash grey army painter. And again, I'm just gonna quickly dry brush this. Pick some of the bits out. And the edges and the stonework and the flat panels. And then I can edge it in black without getting any of the dry brush over it. And there's some edging in the black. Come on, hurry up and dry. Rim of the base in black, make it stand out a bit. I have to do a couple of coats. The fumes from the spray lacquer has hit me in the head quite hard. I got all lightheaded. There we go. Yep, there we go. So I'll probably have that finished for you this weekend, mate. It's not the spray, mate, it's the nuggy come down. Yeah, I've got no nuggies left. Overlord Bruce is here. Oh dear. There's always one and we attract them all. It's good to have you there, mate. I'll have it after the stream, as I say. Can only be one. Me. Will be. I'm probably sat in the painting hangout now because I live in there. If you ever want to pop along for a chat, I'm always in there somewhere hiding. I might not come to you straight away because I'll be in the garage fixing printers again or cleaning stuff up or doing parcels or stuff like that, but Me or someone else will always be popping in and out. So I started a Boba Fett last night. So I did the base coat and base wash of his uniform underneath, and I've just got to start picking up the colours. So I really need to pull my finger out. All of this stuff from FFG. Okay, I'm missing more Crisis Protocol than I thought. I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm painting the bloody thing. Yes, it is, mate. I'll just swap the gaming handle. Amazing. Amazing. Toys. Toys. So all I've done is blocked in some colours at the moment. There's nothing, and then I'd put a couple of bits of wash over it. Built the scenic base. So yeah, a bit more. This has got to be one of the best things that I've come across for showing off models, because you can, if you get the thing right on the you just slowly turn it round, and it really goes really nice and slow. Oh dear. You'll have to figure out what we need a new emote for then. It does really pop. The camera and the lights do give it a bit of extra dimension, but it looks great. Are you sure you wanted this one? Bugger. The good thing about the Legion stuff, Alex, is even with the price increase, I think Boba is 13 quid RRP. So you get places doing them for like a tenner and stuff like that. So you can get a really good. I did one before, because obviously he's on a spiky stick, just like an X-Wing. And he's got a hole up his jetpack. That's not a euphemism. But I made it taller, because it does, by the time you get some rocks down on the scenic base and stuff like that, it looks as though he's the look I've gone for on this one, and a one that I did for Dale, was he's coming over the top of rocks, scrabbling over the top and shooting whoever's on the other side of it. I did here. So we've still got him to do. He needs finishing. I've got so many things. Mr. G, who's not sticking onto his. That's because I haven't pressed it down. So there's a Grievous that needs finishing off. He's going to be figure only, because there's no cards. Yeah, the pause for Boba you can do all sorts with minimal work. So yeah, there's quite a lot going on. I'm just waiting for this tank, hopefully, to dry up a bit without it dripping all over things. Yeah, and you get orange bubble issues with it. It has no smell, which is very lucky. Oh, I would probably be... I think I've got about... Well, I got a few extra packs. So I've got lots of Bubblicious. But I was talking to them yesterday. Was it after? No, it was today. Because after yesterday's stream, I was like, yep, I'm going to replace all my GW ones. Just because of the rotating thing. The GW ones are nice. I'm not going to deny that. Because of the clamping bit. I do like the clampy bit. But they are still a little bit chunky. That just holds my hand nicely. Yeah. And when, as I've shown Tomo, when you're using your hand to do like a triangle between, so your brush is pretty steady, you can actually still use your thumb to spin it round and get to the places that you need or not need. So it's actually, it is a lot better than them. Hence why I need to refill my rack over here. And the rack's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I need another. I've got 4, so I need 12, 8. 8 won't be bad. And a lot of Bubblicious chewing gum. So yeah, the reason I've got... Sorry, mate. I've just got a brand new one as well from GW out of the magazine we get. So there's a brand spanking new one in a box up there. So, yep, oops. Look how Hera rotates on it really nicely. I've got a lot of there. I've got a lot of the Red Grass Gaming stuff. I do use the wet palette quite a bit. Guess who didn't use the emote properly? Because why didn't the emote work? My emote worked. Strange, but true. So yeah, Hella needs the moss putting on. Which one do you... it hasn't on here. It has now. Which one would you like us to do for you? Thank you for following Enigma. That's much appreciated. So... there's a Hulk part done. There's am I going to have to do a Spider-Man because both Jack and Egan want me to do Spider-Man? So with all the handles that I've put one down somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Putty, magnets, putty, magnets. What have I done with it? Up there. Okay. I take it you are just wanting common Spider-Man colours or common whatever I do, common colours. If there's anything you want me to do different, mate, just shout up. So, half stack of putty. Still doesn't smell of bubblicious orange. Whatever. I'd paint them all in my black colour and have everything as metallic, silvery black. They are definitely more that you're going to have to live with them and play with them. So it is most definitely your call, mate. Oh, remember last time I pushed one of your figures onto a... Didn't break. Safe. You know what? What's that even? Stupidly. I can have 2 of these on the go at the moment. So he needs a couple of lines filling. Do I go for Squirty Spider-Man? Squirty Spider-Man with Squirty Spider. Wow. So you said whatever takes my fancy. So using the huge bottle of UV resin that I've acquired, you run the UV resin down fishing wire while putting UV light onto it, and it goes into a solid string, and then you can do the web shootery things. So he can have a web shooter coming out of his hand. The only problem with it is you've got Spidey like that and a web shooter coming out here. It could be very delicate on how you look after him. If that makes sense. Yep, definitely double thwip. Yeah, we have that during the day. I struggle to get as much time on time chatting to these. Like, they were playing X-Wing today, and because of Mr. Christian's mighty fine internet, I hosted the server for them so they could play it. And yeah, I'm sat there working, Dale's sat there working, both of us wanting to play games or paint or bits of both. Stupid work. So at this point, I tend to say, Foxy, was that your £5 note on the floor next to you you've just dropped? No wire. Oop. It. Oh, that wasn't Foxy. Foxy still can't be looking because he's not shouting at me. So these are brass wire brushes. So sometimes when taking a knife down part of the what's it called, mold line, if you're going down like his his socks or his arm suit there, you can actually take... Ooh, that's a naughty little one there. You can actually take some of the detail away. So what you do is you take a wire brush very... Can you zoom in? You don't... Just for Foxy. Egonoing. So, where you've got the mould line, and then you need to get all what I've pushed into there. Let's see if I can get a better clear it. The pound shop wire brush. Don't get the wire ones. So what that's done is actually removed a couple of the mould lines quite easy, without damaging any of the indents and the spide or anything like that. They've all been okay. Also, what you get is, if you look at the back, you can see it's quite shiny from the contact adhesive. So what you do is you gently rub across it, very gently, and don't go... Practice on sprues before you do this, because yeah, Foxy's going to be in all kinds of issues. You can see how much is coming off. But it's not damaging the actual model itself. And see, just being light with it. And because the mould lines, especially on these, the mould lines are quite thin and quite delicate, you can actually get them off without too much of an issue. But just be very careful. Oh, his heads fell off. No, he hasn't. The other thing that you can do with the wire brush is, when you have a pre-painted miniature, very much like here's one I prepared earlier. Oh, that's a very dirty one. Let me get a brush first. So when I was painting excuse me, hero clicks, they come pre-painted, and when you get down to them again, they've got like a glossy coat to them. So when you look at the glossy coat, the paint doesn't stick to it very well. You can see his back's got quite a sheen. So I'm not doing it to this because I'm not repainting him, but again, being very careful, you can rub the wire brush across it, and it keys it up to allow the primer to bite and give a good surface to actually put your paint on. And I maybe's got quite a good response on YouTube over doing one. I did Thanos. And Thanos was a £300 to £400 hero clicks figure, and I snipped off his little fairy and went to town with him on live stream with a wire brush and repainted him. He looks a hell of a lot better. The new owner of him has given him a scrub free zone, so Foxy looks after him now. But yeah, he's it turned a few eyes, to say the least. So, have we got anywhere near this being dry? So there you go. As you can see, as it's starting to dry. If this was a Nurgle tank or a tank from World War II, where you want all of the rust showing. You want all. What you can do is take certain points, like the edges of this, and you could then run a bit more grime, like it had dribbled down it. So you could then run from the rivets and then off, and just run single lines of like wash or very thin down black and brown paint. And you can put like dribble lines in, just like it has actually naturally gone there, but you can do it all the way down, and that star's gone quite nice. So this is just, as I say, a scenery piece. Didn't want to spend too much time on it. I wanted to try the new airbrush thinner, and you saw how really good that was going through the airbrush. We used the war paints from Army Painter, the centres. So the base coat was the Army Green, and then we used green skin and Goblin Green, then green skin, in that order, getting to a brighter green. Silvered up with the plate metal silver, which is cracking silver. Cracking silver. So, and that's the older one. Again, these aren't matched to their spray cans that you get. And then you saw me, I made a goop mixture, throwing some that's not the goop mixture was basically sand, and I don't know if I've got the tub laid around anymore. Sand, washes, some brown, and we got like a goop that went onto the tracks. And the sand picks up and it looks a little bit rusty. Let that dry overnight because it did need it. And then went in with the silver dry brush, bits and pieces all over. Did some silver dry brushing over various parts of the model. Then went in with the lava orange to get the rust effect. Again, dry brushing and stippling with that. Eventually going into the actual dry brush, the goopy rust effect, and then just experimented a couple of things. We did a 50-50 wash, a 50-50 glute mix of rust and brown, and mid brown. We also did some dark tone and some mid brown washes just to get it looking bleh. Bleh. And I don't know, what do you think? Honest opinions. You are my biggest judges. Judge. That does make me feel a lot better. Look at that. All of the magic. You can do this for any tanks. If you want battlefield scenery, you can take any tank out there. You can take a GW tank. You can take a Tamiya kit tank. You can just mess it up. Things like something as daft as a tank barrel that's gone all saggy and stuff like that. Makes it look a bit more worn, and then maybe use a base. I didn't think about basing. So maybe use a base and then some just get some of the shrubs around it. Some big shrubs. And I've even seen people put shrubs from places like, so you've got the tracks here that would there we go. So you've got the track tops here showing. You would have mud on, if this hadn't been touched for 50, 100, 200 years sort of thing, you would have mud on there, and grass or whatever would have grown up off it. So little tufts coming off there and that sort of stuff. Little tufts in the crevices, this moss stuff that I was on about, it might be worth a couple of bits of moss on it as well. I'll have a look at that. It might be a one that I do before putting the photos up. But again, the camera's making it look a little bit more green than it is. It looks a lot more subdued here. I wonder if I can actually... Now I've got the cameras properly lit. Let's see. Not that one. Filters. It does have a filter on, which color correction filter. Which is doing absolutely nothing. Oh. Yeah. So we've just had the nuclear blast. That actually, so I'm just leaving that on a second. So my eyes are burning. You can see where obviously this is exaggerating it massively, but you can see where we've got the rust to sit in the crevices and stuff like that. That's actually quite good. That sorry. Nope, still need a bit more green. It's actually not that far off. How does that look? That looks pretty close to what I've got in hand to screen. That looks pretty close to what I've got. It does look like a American green tank. But yeah, I could possibly pick up a couple of bits that I've missed out, but I might actually put it on a base, thinking about basing and stuff like that. I don't think I've got anything suitable in here. Don't. So yeah, I might stick it on a bit of an oval base so it can go down as a bit of scenery as well. And then do some basing technique as well. Maybe it's for the next one. So, I did say I was going to cut it short this evening. It is 8:30. What I'm going to do is... Where's the... Yeah. I'm going to... Drawing the next thing. Yeah, I'm going to give it a cut here, and then I'm going to head over to our Discord channel. I'm going to go to the little boys' room and probably try and eat, because I got a £1/4 pounder as well that I've not touched yet, so I'll probably get that eaten before we go on. So thank you everyone that followed tonight. Thank you Foxy for putting up the Discord channel. If anyone wants to come over, I'll be going over there. Well, I'm over there now. It doesn't really matter. I'm just muted. I say I'm really happy with the tank. We'll get on with Foxy's Spider-Man, which is going to make Jack happy. And next week, are you still here, Mr. Bruce? Are you still here? Yay! Do you know what what your streaming schedule is for next week? Because we will fill your gaps, she said. While you're telling me, I'm going to have some cold chips. Holy cow. So no Monday or Tuesday. Haha, you rattler. So we could be streaming 4 days next week. Ulfric got the painting one. Oh, right. Okay. Drop me a message. There we go. Drop me a message and let me know who, why, what, when, and how for. And we'll get some set up. We'll try and cover as much as you're off and can't do it. We'll try and cover you as much as we can. Because it's always good for these guys to have someone to throw things at and shout at and the usual banter. So I'll find out off Alex, but there'll be someone on. Come to our stream. I'll go to Weekend Warlords, and you'll see one of us on one of them. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and possibly the weekend. If Alex is only able to do it at the weekend. So again, thank you everyone for being here, supporting. Please go like our eBay, Facebook, YouTube, the million. At the moment, I can't move in the garage, Rattler. The garage, we've not been able to do any gaming, let alone Monster Apocalypse. I might paint some Monster Apocalypse. I've still got Mr. Blue Eyes still here, and his brother that need finishing. But yeah, we'll try and get some on. I don't know. I'm going to try and set up some COVID safe gaming area, so I can actually invite people like Foxy round to come and play a game and throw abuse at you instead of even just doing it on the chat. Maybe Dale, any of the guys that used to come round. We'll set something up. So anyway, everyone take care. Have a good evening. Remember that in 20 minutes there is an X-Wing reveal thingy show on FFG, and I shall see you all over on Discord soon. Good night everyone, and take care. I'm back. Wrong button again. You didn't see this.